This is a Nervous Chuckles production. Hey!
I'm reviewing here!
What up, everybody? Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here, a podcast where I, Matthew Busy, watch and review science, sound, top greatest movies of all time. Should I do it again? Should I just talk fast as fuck the entire episode? Would that be cool? No. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here, a podcast where I, Matthew Busy, watch and review science, sounds, top greatest movies of all time. If you're coming here late to the podcast, hi, my name is Matt Bussey, and I'm it's not doing that again. Hi, everybody. Yes, hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. It's a good day. I'm feeling really good. I'm a little tired right now, but I'm always tired. I don't really know what's wrong with me. I think that I may... What's an animal that, sleeps all the time? Lion. I would love to be a lion. Lions are so badass. When I used to go to the zoo as a kid, I used to want to go into the lion pit and sleep with the lions. And I still want to, but I wouldn't. I hope that you're all doing well. And yes, I guess if anybody listening is new, I am reviewing Sight and Sound's top greatest movies of all time. They release Jesus Christ, that would be a short-ass podcast. They release the greatest films of all time every 10 years. They released it at the end of 2022. So I have until 2032 to get through all of these movies, 2 episodes a week. And it's a lot, but I love it. I really do love it. Why am I talking about this? Not much else new. Not much else new. I hope that you're all having a really good May. I hope that you all have a good Memorial Day coming up. If you don't live in America, Memorial Day is when you dress up in costumes and go trick-or-treating. Look it up. It's true. And let's get started, shall we? Today's movie came out in 1995, so it's kind of new. Turns 30 next year in 2025. And it's a movie that I had always heard of, always heard of, but had never seen it for so many years, and I finally did, and I have a lot to say about it. This movie is Heat.
You want to be making moves on the street, have no attachments, allow nothing to be in your life that you cannot walk out on in 30 seconds flat if you spot the heat around the corner.
In the city of Los Angeles.
Recognize the MO? MO is that they're good. If you think these guys are scoring points and passing through, I doubt it.
A relentless police detective is on the trail.
What do we got?
Of a master thief.
You're fugitive number 1 with a bullet. It's double the risk here.
You're wrong. It's 4 times the risk, and I'm double the worst trouble you ever had.
Clear!
And his reckless partner.
The bank is worth the risk. We should take it down.
I want full surveillance, 24 hours, round the clock. We never close, open 7 days a week.
Assume they got our phones, assume they got our houses, assume they got us.
Bam, bye-bye.
They get more daring with every score.
What's the estimate?
12.2 million.
You're up.
But one cop
He's here. I can feel it.
is closing in.
Whatever score they're gonna take next, they're gonna have the surprise of a lifetime.
Now, for the first time, Academy Award winner Al Pacino and Academy Award winner Robert De Niro collide.
If I'm there and I gotta put you away, I'll tell you, you are going down.
What if you do got me boxed in, and I gotta put you down? Because no matter what, you will not get in my way. I will not hesitate for a second.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer in a Michael Mann film, Heat.
So I feel like if you grew up in the 90s, you knew Heat. You know, everybody kind of knew Heat, that movie. Also, don't be confused with The Heat, that hilarious comedy with Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. Fun fact, for the longest time, I used to pronounce Sandra Bullock as Sandra Bullock. I always thought it was Bullock until my internship when everybody started laughing. And I was like, what's so funny? And they were like, it's not Bullock, you dumb ass. Yeah, I'm not smart. Yeah, Heat, though, man, crime drama, crime thriller, more of like a drama, in my opinion. This was very different from what I expected it to be. So it stars Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and a lot of other people too. Amy Brenneman is in it, Ashley Judd, little Natalie Portman is in it. She's a little baby. John Voight is in it. Michael T. Williamson, who played Bubba in Forrest Gump, is in it. One of the best movies of all freaking time. If that's not on this list, I'm gonna scream. Yeah, so a big cast. This was written and directed by Michael Mann. Now, Michael Mann, he hasn't really, directed a ton of movies, but he's that he's that director that every critic knows. You know, he did The Last of the Mohicans. He did this movie called Manhunter, which had Hannibal Lecter in it, but it was not that Hannibal Lecter. Brian Cox was in it originally, and actually, I don't know the full story with that. Hannibal Lecter's in it, but then a few years later, they kind of redid it and made it into The Silence of the Lambs. So anyway, I haven't even seen it, obviously, but it's kind of like a cult classic. That, Manhunter, of course, I've seen TSOTL, best movie of all time. Freaking love that movie. Yeah, Last of the Mohicans he did. He did the movie about Muhammad Ali with Will Smith called Ali. He did Collateral, great movie. Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx. He did this movie called Ferrari that came out last year, which got mostly good reviews. It stars Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz. So he's well known. He's well known. I just, it's not that I don't like him. I just, I'm not a diehard fan of his films, you know, but he's got a big following, you know. He is very critically acclaimed in a lot of ways. And yeah, but you know, at the same time though, he's a little overrated. Excuse me, overrated. A little tad overrated in my opinion. However, though, Heat is a really cool, fun, great movie in my opinion. It's very long. It is very long. It's almost 3 hours long. Literally 10 of 180 minutes long. No, that doesn't make any sense. 170 minutes long. Why am I so into numbers in this episode? My God. It's a crime drama, and, you know, it was very different from what I expected it to be. Now, I'd always heard about this movie, like I said. I thought that this whole movie was going to be set in one day at a bank, and it was going to be about, you know, these bank robbers and the cops trying to, you know, stop them, and the whole movie's just one big, long, heated exchange between both of them. I was very wrong. Very, very wrong. And I was kind of mainly thinking of Dog Day Afternoon, which also stars Al Pacino in it. And that's very much what that movie is. But no, Heat is it's weird. You know, it's been a while since I watched it, and I'm still trying to put my head around, you know, it. I mean, I think I get mostly what it's about. It was just very different. It was very different. I think, you know, the other big different thing about it is that it's a very gritty movie. There's some action in it, but it's not trying to be entertaining, you know. It's not trying to be a fun action thriller ride, you know. It's entertaining. It is. I mean, I think with this cast, you cannot not be entertained by this film, you know. But yeah, I think what threw me for a loop was how deep this movie is with its characters. You know, it really is a character drama first and foremost. And that's what I really liked about it. It surprised me, but that's what I really, really enjoyed about it. You know, I think the plot in general is actually pretty generic in my opinion, but without, you know, Mann focusing so hard on these characters, it wouldn't really be the movie it is today. You know, I think that is why it made such a big splash when it came out, you know. So I really, really liked it. Let's get into it. I'm excited.
Plots and ups.
So it also kind of has a Miami Vice-y feel. Now, I've not Vice, not, you know, Vice-E. It's I haven't seen Miami Vice. I did see the movie Miami Vice that Mann also did. And it's kind of got that vibe, you know. It has that gritty. I feel like gritty is just kind of the best word to describe this movie. And A little quick trivia here. I was going to wait till, the end, but, you should know that I didn't even notice this, obviously, but this movie originally started off as a television pilot that Mann obviously did, and they did one episode, but then it didn't receive a series order, and that was in 1989. It wasn't even called Heat. It was called LA Takedown. And who was in it? I forgot to rate who was in it. Oh, absolutely nobody I know. So yeah, only one episode. That is so crappy when that happens. I can't imagine being an actor and doing that pilot season. Yeah, that's rough. But yeah, didn't work. So Mann was like, well, screw you. I'm going to make this a movie then. And he did. And look at what it has become. All righty. Are you ready? Okay. Neil McCauley is a professional thief based in Los Angeles. Neil McCauley is played by a little-known actor named Robert De Niro. Oh, he's so good in this movie. He and his crew, right-hand man Chris Shiherlis, sorry, I can't say that, enforcer Michael Chirito, driver Gilbert Trejo, and newly hired hand Waingro, I think is how you say his name. I'm sorry, I forgot to double-check this. I'm sorry. They rob $1.6 million in bearer bonds, from an armored car. During the heist, Waingro kills a guard without provocation, forcing the crew to eliminate the other two guards. Later, McCauley prepares to kill Waingro in retaliation for the death of the guards, but he escapes. So Waingro is kind of a little bit of a sociopath in this film. He's played by actor Kevin Gage, and there's kind of an interesting story with Kevin Gage, which I will get to. So, that also, though, that kind of shows you the man that Neil is. Neil isn't really a psychotic. He doesn't really want to kill people. He just is a thief, and that's what he is, and he knows that it's his life, and he can't get out of it, and he just wants the money. He just wants to get his job done, but that's it. For him, it's if people die, it's really sad, but he doesn't want to do it. He's a good guy deep down, but he screws up, of course. LAPD Lieutenant Vincent Hanna and his team investigate the robbery. Vincent Hanna, you know who it is? Al Pacino, one of the best friggin' actors in this movie. Oh my God. Not just in the movie, in general. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Hanna, a dedicated lawman and former Marine, has a strained relationship with his third wife, Justine, and struggles to connect with his stepdaughter, Lauren. Lauren is played by Natalie Portman. So adorable in this film. And his wife, Justine, I always forget her name. She doesn't, I don't really think she acts anymore. She's in The Insider, and I believe she was in Romeo and Juliet, the 90s version. Her name is Diane Venora. No, she was not in Romeo and Juliet. What am I talking about? No, she was not in The Insider. Who am I thinking of? Wait, she was in Romeo and Juliet. Crap. I am thinking of the right person. Okay, sorry. My brain today, I'm I need help. Okay, so he is married, but he can't really connect with Lauren. Lauren's a teenager, a preteen, basically. So she's like, I don't like you. So yeah, it's a little uncomfortable. McCauley, who lives a solitary life, begins a relationship with Edie, a graphic designer. Edie's played by Amy Brenneman, and she's so cute, sweet in this movie, very quiet and sweet. And, Neil, or McCauley, I guess that's what this description calls him by his last name. Again, he's got a soft side. He really does. And Edie kind of sees that in him, and there's an attraction. McCauley's fence, Nate, suggests he sell the stolen bonds back to their original owner, money launderer Roger Van Zant. So Nate is played by Jon Voight, and Van Zant is played by William Fichtner. William Fichtner, you'd recognize. He's in a lot of movies. Armageddon, he was in The Perfect Storm. You'd recognize him. I have a friend, actually, whose mom, knows him. Oh my God, that's crazy. Her name is, just kidding, I won't do that. Van Zant pretends to agree, but instead arranges an ambush. Anticipating a trap, McCauley and his crew counter-ambush and kill the hitman. Afterwards, McCauley visits Van Zant and vows revenge. An informant of the LAPD connects Chirito to the robbery, and Hannah's team begins monitoring him, leading to the rest of the crew and their next target, a precious metals depository. Hannah's team stakes out the depository, but when a careless officer makes a noise, McCauley aborts the heist. So, yeah. I also forgot to say Val Kilmer. He plays Chris Shiherlis, who I cannot pronounce for the life of me, even though I always study the names before this. But yeah, they abandon the heist. Macaulay's crew agree to one last bank robbery worth $12.2 million. Hannah tracks Macaulay and pulls him over on the 105 freeway, inviting him to coffee. They discuss their dedication to their respective jobs and the limitations of their personal lives. Hannah describes his failing marriage, and Macaulay confides that he is similarly isolated. This scene is amazing. Though they admit their respect for one another, both acknowledge that they will kill the other if necessary. Waingro makes a deal with Van Zandt to help eliminate Macaulay's crew. Trejo quits the bank robbery at the last minute, claiming the LAPD is following him too closely. Now, Trejo, you may recognize this guy. He is played by Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo is best known, in my opinion, for playing Machete, and he was in Spy Kids, I think. Oh my God, such a good movie. Yes, so that scene, though, I'm going to get back to that coffee scene because that is the best moment in the movie, in my opinion. But Trejo, he quits. He thinks the LAPD is following him. He kind of gets scared. Macaulay recruits an old colleague, Don Breeden, to take Trejo's place as the getaway driver, and the crew carries out the heist. Acting on a tip from Van Zandt's bodyguard, the LAPD intercepts the crew as they leave the bank, leading to a massive shootout. Breeden and Chirito are killed, while Macaulay escapes with a wounded Shiherlis. Macaulay takes Shiherlis to a doctor to treat his wounds and leaves him with Nate. Suspecting Trejo tipped off the LAPD, Macaulay arrives at his house to confront him, but finds him mortally wounded and his wife killed. Oh, this scene's intense. Trejo reveals Waingro and Van Zandt forced him to divulge the bank heist plans before asking Macaulay to kill him. Macaulay breaks into Van Zandt's mansion and shoots him dead. Upon learning of Macaulay's connection to Waingro and that the latter is hiding in a hotel, Hannah decides to use Waingro as bait to lure Macaulay. As Macaulay prepares to flee the country, Edie discovers his criminal identity but agrees to go with him. So she's an interesting character. She kind of... A lot of people in this movie are just lonely, And I think that's what is so powerful about Heat is that, even the people that are doing bad things, doing criminal things, you're not really meant to sympathize with them. Man isn't really asking you to do that, but man is making you understand that, they're also human beings too. They got a lot of shit that they got to work on, a lot of therapy that they should go to and they should go to church, or a synagogue, or a mosque. Okay. What other center? Yeah. I can't think of any other places of worship. So before escaping, Shiherlis attempts to reconcile with his wife Charlene, who has been forced by the LAPD to bring him in. Charlene is played by Ashley Judd. Yeah, one of her early roles. As Shiherlis encounters Charlene at her safe house, she warns him away with a hand gesture, and he escapes. Yeah, that was a cool scene. Cool moment. Having separated from Justine, Hannah finds Lauren has attempted... oh my God, the scene was so out of nowhere. Hannah finds Lauren has attempted suicide in his own hotel room and rushes her to the hospital. He reconciles with Justine after they learn that Lauren has survived. Okay, so she survives, but that scene, Jesus fucking Christ. Although they both agree that their relationship will never work. Sad. Jesus fucking Christ again. Macaulay drives to the airport with Edie, but when Nate gives him Waingro's location, he abandons his usual caution to seek revenge. Macaulay infiltrates the hotel, pulls the fire alarm, bursts into Waingro's room, and kills him. Yeah, Macaulay. That scene made me feel good. As Macaulay returns to Edie, he is spotted by Hannah. Macaulay abandons Edie, fleeing onto the tarmac at the airport, pursued by Hannah. The two stalk each other, and Hannah shoots Macaulay in the chest. Hannah takes Macaulay's hand as Macaulay dies of his wounds. The end.
You can't go in there.
Watch this.
Excuse me, that...
Tim, I gotta call you back.
Wait, you have to have an appointment.
Can I help you?
Are you Alan Marciano?
Yeah, and who the fuck are you?
How am I?
Hey!
Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, LAPD.
LA, this is Las Vegas. You don't even have jurisdiction here. Hey! Hey, I don't know who the fuck you guys think you're pushing around, but I know people here, okay?
Las Vegas PD takes you into custody. You are extradited to Newark on a New Jersey warrant for smuggling cigarettes up from North Carolina 3 years ago, or you go to work for us. Cut and dried. That is it.
Oh, shit.
Charlene Shiherlis.
Who?
Who? Who? Were you a fucking owl?
The lady you've been talking dirty to on the telephone every day last week.
Yeah, all right. You know what? You can't tie me to her.
Well, who needs to? Because your ass is on a plane back to New Jersey, Jagoff.
Oh, man. I just... Why'd I get mixed up with that bitch?
Because she got a great ass! And you got your head all the way up it. Jesus. When I think of asses, woman's ass, something comes out of me. So? No big thing. All I want is her husband and his whole fucking crew. Now you're gonna work with Sergeant Trucker here.
That line! I chuckled so loudly at that line. Oh my god. And you know, I read up about that line. She's got a great ass! He ad-libbed that. Al Pacino ad-libbed that. And when you see this movie, you may have recognized his voice. Hank Azaria is in that scene, and that's his real reaction. Yeah. To have Al Pacino curse at you like that, oh my god, I would have crapped my pants, but like in a good way. Like I would have... This is what I love about Heat. You know, you have two of the best, most badass, gangster-esque actors of all time, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. They are so badass in this film. And this movie, like, I think the reason I love it is it reminds me of why I love them so much, and it reminds me of why... One day, if I ever get to meet them, I just want them to, like, lock me in a room and I just want them to, like, yell at me, you know? Like, not actually yell, but, like, just yell. Like, curse at me and yell. And I just want to be like, oh, my God, yeah! You know? Like, there's just something about these guys. These guys are... There's a reason we love them so much. I think, you know, these men could play the nastiest characters in the world and... they'll still have that charisma, you know? Al Pacino plays a villain in the Godfather movies, but he is, like, such... an embracing villain, you know? You want to see him. You want to see him succeed in a weird way. And it's the same with De Niro, you know? I mean, like, every role they both of these guys do, you just love them. They are incapable of being bad, truly. Well, then again, De Niro did host SNL one time years ago, and I thought he was pretty awful. But that was like 2010. Also, SNL is not for everybody. There's plenty of guest hosts that just don't really have good comedic timing. But De Niro does, though. Come on, Meet the Parents. Hello. Oh man, so Heat, yes. Why did I love it so much? Well, okay, like I said, yes, just a fun movie, great script, really, of course, lovable leads in it. Why is it such a good movie? Why are people still talking about it all these years later? You know, I said this a little bit in the beginning, but I think the reason Heat is such a different thriller is because it's a crime film. But it's more than that, you know? I think that this is a film that could have very easily been one of those cheaply made blockbuster films that, you know, you see on like a Friday night on like a bad date, you know? It could have been badly written and it could have been mindlessly made with just a lot of action and shut up! Sorry, ambulance is going by. Do you hear that shit? Whoa, this is kind of weird because I'm talking about crime in a movie and there's an ambulance going by. Oh my God, what if there's an actual heist? Would you ever like to visit a heist, like, live? I don't think I would. I'd be too afraid. But, all right. You hear that, right? I'm about to bust a nut up in this joint. Okay, you know, I don't know what that means. Does it just mean, like, I'm gonna hit people? I can't hit anybody because I live alone and no one's here. Yeah, except for my, you know, alternate personalities, but they come out every now and again. Heat, yes. Great character study overall. You know, it is long. It is a little long. I did get a little confused at parts, but I think overall... what I really took from this movie was its relationship between Macaulay and Hannah, you know? It's not really like good versus evil. And if it was good versus evil, that would have been too predictable. You know what I'm saying? I think the big thing I'm trying to say that I'm not really saying well is Heat is not really... The ending I saw coming. The ending I did see coming. I knew that, you know... Hannah was going to get it, of course. No, not Hannah, excuse me, Macaulay. I knew that he was going to get it. And I keep wanting to say Macaulay Culkin. That entire description read, I was very tempted to. Because Macaulay, come on, how many other Macaulays do you know? It's like it's a predictable ending, but this is kind of an unpredictable movie, you know? I also, like, I'm not totally... It's not like I'm a pro at crime movies. Also, what is a crime movie? Like, just... Is it only about, like, bank robberies? Like, does that make a movie a crime movie? I don't really know. It's kind of... I feel like, there are a lot of movies that can be identified as crime movies, but Heat is just, it moved me in a very unexpected way. The whole thing was just very unexpected to me. Everything about it, even the action scenes, they're very well done. They are riveting, but they're more realistic than like you usually see in a lot of other action films, So actually, this is a good segue to the BTS Secrets and Scandals, because I want to talk about the action and why it does feel different in this film. BTS Secrets and Scandals! She's got a great ass! Oh, that was good. I got to work on my impressions. I'm really bad at them. I only do a good Kristen Stewart from Twilight impression, but that's really old. I've been doing that. Before Twilight even came out, I was doing Kristen Stewart impressions. Okay. This is interesting. This whole thing was fascinating. Rather than dubbing in the gunshots during the bank robbery shootout, Michael Mann had microphones carefully placed around the set so that the audio could be captured live. This added to the impact of the scene because it sounded like no other gunfight shown on screen. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Realism in this film, There's a reason why people love Christopher Nolan so much. They love him because he uses practical effects most of the time, And this is another example of that. I think when directors do their best to use real action, practical effects, or anything, it makes the experience all the more effective. So that was crazy. During the famous bank robbery gunfight, Mann directed the actors portraying the police to aim deliberately and only fire their rifles in the semi-automatic mode. Oh, my British just came in. This showed that the police were taking care not to hit bystanders. By contrast, the robbers, concerned only with their own safety, fire their weapons on full automatic, striking several bystanders in the process. I mention that because that also adds to the realism of this. I think Mann could have easily had the cops being total mindless idiots and just not, shooting at anybody, because you do see that in action films. It's such a bad mistake, in so many action films. But again, Mann is going for realism, and he does it well. So actor Mykelti Williamson, also like Bubba, Forrest Gump, one of my favorite performances ever. He plays Sergeant Barbie, not Barbie. He plays Sergeant Bobby Drucker in this film. In the special edition DVD of the movie, he said in an interview that Mann arranged for cast members to meet with real-life LAPD detectives and professional criminals at an exclusive restaurant where LAPD detectives and criminals socialize. That is crazy. Cast members playing the detectives had dinner with the LAPD detectives and their wives one night, while the cast members playing the thieves had dinner with the real-life criminals and their wives on a separate night. Williamson also said that Mann arranged these events so the actors and actresses would have a better idea of how real detectives and criminals socialized and interacted with each other. That is just the core theme of this movie, detective versus criminal. It's about that relationship and how oddly different yet kind of similar they both are, Similar in the fact that they're both just people still at the end of the day. Now, look, every criminal is different. There are criminals out there that are murderous psychopaths and get joy out of, what they're doing. There are criminals that are sadistic, of course, but I think that, oh God, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't want this episode to be like, oh, if you're a criminal, it's okay. I agree with you. Keep doing what you do. No. If you're a criminal, no, stop. If you're listening and you're a criminal, stop. And I'm not talking about petty, like, I stole a doll from American Girl doll because it was too expensive. I mean, well, that is really bad. Don't do that either. But, real crime. Don't do it. But I like this, though. This is just really a fascinating, true story behind the making of this film. Them actually meeting with real-life criminals. The detectives, I can understand that. But the criminals, though, that, meeting with the detectives, that doesn't really sound like a crazy thing. Because, I mean, unless detectives are corrupt, then I guess, it's not, they'd be cool with it. But yeah, criminals. I could never in my life do that. The explicit nature of several of the film's scenes was cited as the model of a spate of robberies since its release. This is crazy. This included armored car robberies in South Africa, Colombia, Denmark, Norway, and most famously, the 1997 North Hollywood shootout in which Larry Phillips Jr. and Emil Matasaranu robbed the North Hollywood branch of the Bank of America, and, similarly to the film, were confronted by the LAPD as they left the bank. This shootout is considered one of the longest and bloodiest events of its type in American police history. Both robbers were killed, and 11 police officers and 7 bystanders were injured during the shootout. That's crazy. This movie was widely referenced during the coverage of the shootout. Okay, coincidence? I think it's just a coincidence. This fascinates me, reading about controversial movies whose crimes depicted in the movies inspired other copycat, crimes. I love horror movies, so I think if you love horror movies too, you know that Scream... Well, wait, I'm saying this backwards. Scream was kind of inspired by these Florida killings. What am I thinking of? Oh, Natural Born Killers. Oh, that's a dark movie, but I think it's genius. Not for everybody, but I loved it. That's a movie where it's about these two murderers, this murdering couple, and murderous couple, and the movie basically inspired copycat crimes, and the people committing the crimes were like, I love Natural Born Killers, man. The most famous, of course, is the Columbine shooting. Those shooters, no, they weren't actors. Those shooters. I get really heated about this. I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to curse, but fuck, it's hard. Oh, shoot. They love that movie too. So I think in this case, it's just a coincidence. Unless, the robbers were literally we're doing this because we love that movie Heat. It came out 2 years ago. I don't really know if that's true, but kind of there's more life imitating art in this film. So when Kevin Gage, remember I mentioned him earlier. Kevin Gage plays Waingro in the film. He was in prison for 2 years in 2003, and he was universally addressed by fellow inmates and prison guards as Waingro, his character from the movie. Now, I thought he'd been arrested for something really bad. He actually had just been arrested for cultivating marijuana, which, okay, it is against the law, but so long as nobody got killed, then I don't know about that. But yeah, crazy. Danny Trejo as well was an inmate at Folsom Prison in real life, just like his character in the film. He was arrested for a bunch of shit. It was mostly drugs and petty crimes, I think, but yeah, he's good now. He's clean. In an interview with Al Pacino on the DVD special edition, God, this DVD special edition has a lot of facts. Pacino revealed that for the scene in the restaurant between Hannah and Macaulay, De Niro felt that the scene should not be rehearsed so that the unfamiliarity between the two characters would seem more genuine. Michael Mann agreed and shot the scene with no practice rehearsals. I like that. I can see that. Yeah. That's my favorite scene in the movie, hands down. And it's always such a gamble when you hear about directors doing that and scenes let's not make it natural, and then you find out that scene was the scene that what you see in the movie was the first scene that they shot. That's crazy. It works. It really does work, but yeah, I don't know how they do it. Movie making, man, it is so magical. I love it. In June of 2002, the scene involving the shootout after the bank robbery was shown to the United States Marine recruits at the MCRD San Diego as an example of the proper way, to retreat while under fire. Fuck, I fucked that up. Yeah, this movie, if you want to rob a bank, which you shouldn't, this movie shows you why you should not do it, because you will screw up. Don't do it. Don't throw your life away. Amy Brenneman disliked the script. She plays Edie in the film, and she didn't want to be in the movie, saying it was too filled with blood with no morality. Michael Mann told her that with that mindset, she would be perfect for the role of Edie. Huh, man? You sneaky little son of a... I won't say that. I'm just kidding. No, that's clever, though. But that's Edie's character. Edie's character is not used to all the violence, so it worked. It really worked. The best moment. The coffee scene, hands down, between Macaulay and Hannah. Yeah, that's the best scene because it's there's something almost Greek about it. It's like watching a Greek tragedy or a philosophical story. It's you have somebody who is protecting people in society, and then you have somebody who's breaking the law, and you have one guy going, look, I don't want to kill you, but I'm going to have to if you keep doing this, okay? Stop. And you have this other guy going, I get that, I could very well die, and I have to keep doing this, I don't really know anything else. It's a tragedy, it's a very tragic moment, and it's so powerful, it's so crazy to watch one guy, De Niro's character, basically say, I don't have anything else left to lose. So if I'm going to die, I'm going to die this way, Man, amazing acting, amazing.
Mais est-ce que je suis d'accord avec les critiques de ce film?
Oui, je suis d'accord avec les critiques de ce film, mais quelquefois... Oh, just kidding. Yeah, critics really liked this movie, but there were a few people who thought it was a little too long and a little too generic. Dave Kerr of New York Daily News said, Heat is an odd, though often entertaining blend of the asphalt jungle and Oprah. A traditional cops and robbers story weirdly fitted out with long, earnest discussions of interpersonal relationships. That's what I liked about it. Oprah, I don't really get that. Maybe he was just trying to be funny. Michael Wilmington of Chicago Tribune said, when Pacino's loud, bruised cop and De Niro's canny crook stare at each other, you can read something spent and weary in their eyes and voices. The heat is hell. So are their jobs, but somebody's got to do them. Yeah, that's what I liked about the movie. It's that message of, this is an ugly, ugly world to be in. It's an ugly career to have, both of them, but they got to do it. They got to get it done. Jonathan Romney of Guardian said, like Kubrick, Michael Mann takes a genre premise that seems like no big deal and expands it into a cosmos of its own. Heat might simply be the most spectacular B movie ever made, but that's impressive enough. I wouldn't call this a B movie. I disagree with that. A B movie is like, well, it's a B movie. It doesn't really mean that it's great. It's entertaining, but yeah. Also, B movies, I always associate B movies with like bad horror films with, bad gore and over-the-topness, and this isn't like that. No, not at all. Amy Talbin of Village Voice said, the splendid visuals aside, Heat is a cosmically silly movie, which doesn't make it any less entertaining. Man manages to have his romance of obsessed masculinity and send it up, too. No, I wouldn't call it silly. I think, take the coffee scene, for example. Me explaining it, you may be thinking, why doesn't Hannah just kill Macaulay right there and then? Well, they're in a coffee shop, a crowded coffee restaurant shop, and no, that's not realistic. He's not just going to shoot him there in front of everybody. So, no, that's not silly. No, that's good writing, okay? Amy. Just kidding, Amy. Harper Barnes of St. Louis Post-Dispatch said, time and again, Heat veers sharply out of the groove worn by 1,000 other movies. As I said, it's not an ordinary movie. Indeed, it's an extraordinary one, with compelling performances, a fascinating mix of characters, and a riveting storyline. Summarized it perfectly. Rob Salem of Toronto Star said, we are being asked to spend inordinate amounts of our time sitting through a single movie. Be that as it may, and much as I hate to encourage this sort of thing, I cannot come up with a single second of Heat that I could have done without. There are slow moments in this movie, but at the same time, it's just perfect. It just feels seamless. It feels perfect, Don't let the long running time scare you. Really don't. I don't. This movie really stays with you.
Is it really one of the best movies of all time?
I don't know if it's one of the best movies of all time. It's a very good movie. It's very, very fun. It's very engaging. One of the best? What makes it one of the best? I don't really know. I'm going to say no for that reason. I think, I talked about, well, it's really realistic as a crime movie. It's not silly. It's really well written. Yeah, it's good. It's really good for those reasons. But I'm just going to say no. Great movie, but I don't totally know if it stands out enough from all the other crime movies to be considered one of the best crime movies. You know what I'm saying? It is different. It's very different, which I liked, but a very polite no. But I can understand why people love it so much, and I loved it too, and you will too. And I know that you will love it too, and I know that you love me too, and I know I love you too, and you love me too, and we all live each other, okay? We all live each other? Did I just say we all live each other? Oh, oy vey. Oy gewalt. Thank you all for tuning in. Go see Heat. Great movie. In the meantime, I will see you next time. And in the meantime, get your ass off the couch and go to the goddamn movies, okay? I don't care if you have to go to Home Depot, okay? I had to go to Home Depot the other day. Do you think that stopped me from going to the movies? No, it didn't, okay? Go to Home Depot after you go to the movies, okay? Go to a matinee and then go to Home Depot, okay? Well, the Home Depot's too far away. Well, get an Uber. Well, Ubers cost money. Uber people need money too, okay? Be a good mensch, as Jewish people say, and as I continue to say all the time. Be a good mensch, okay? Be a good mensch. Go to the movies. Do as I say. All right? Or I'm gonna rob you. I will. Don't test me. No, I won't. Okay. All right, cool. Bye. I will rob your food, though. I will steal food. I love food so much. Okay, cool. Bye. Oh, you made it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here. New episodes drop Tuesdays and Fridays. You can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at I'm Reviewing Here. You can also subscribe on YouTube. New episodes drop there the same day they drop on the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Please leave a review if you'd like. Be mean, be nice, hit on me. I don't really care. Candor really, really is important to me, and, it helps the podcast, too. So I really hope you enjoyed it. This podcast is brought to you especially by Nervous Chuckles. That is my fake production company, because I make people nervously chuckle all the time, because they never know if I'm telling a joke or not, so they're always like, do I laugh? Do I not laugh? Is he serious? Is he insane? Did he get out of the loony? What's going on? So if I made you nervously chuckle, then that means that I did my job, and thank you. There is no funding for this podcast, but if you want to give me money, then, hit me up. DM me. Bye-bye.